Hello, Social 20-1 students. I am um going to be away for a number of days due to quarantine. Um, I am perfectly fine and healthy. It's just, they're taking every precaution that they believe that they need to do in order for uh, to limit the spread of COVID-19. So, because of that, I am making a series of lesson plans online that I'll share with you and the substitute, whoever that is. Thank you very much for filling in for me. Anyhow, let's just get right to it. Um, I'm going to go over what we're going to be doing over the next couple days. More than likely, I'll make another video for next week. But, anyways, here we go. So, tomorrow in our Social 20-1, um, you will have some time in the first period to complete your digging up the trenches video assignment. Okay, you should have all the information you need to finish that up, hand that in. At some point I'll get to marking it. I don't know if I can get someone over there to get me some stuff to mark, but nonetheless, just get that in. And then the other assignment will be your student booklet 3B. And I am going to get you kind of a walkthrough with it here in a second. I said I will post the video explaining what to do with the rest of the assignment. That's what I'm doing right now. I will provide for you in Google Classroom a link to the video slide lesson, or sorry, the Google slide lesson to the Treaty of Versailles. I'm not sure if I'll make a video on it. I think you can just look through it and kind of get the same that you would get from me talking about it. Um, and then there's a video I'd like you to watch about the Treaty of Versailles. Now, you can watch that in class. I have instructed the substitute to show that video, and that will help you answer uh, the rest of 3B. All right, when you're done with 3B, you will be working on Chapter 6. Now, Chapter 6 is going to be more just textbook independent kind of work, a little bit different than the student booklets that we've been working on this semester. It's basically out of necessity because of the fact that I can't be there. Obviously, I'm the one that knows how to work the SMART lessons, etc. So this is kind of the best scenario moving forward. And once you're done the 3B and the digging up the trenches, you'll be working on that. All right, so anyhow, just to kind of give you a bit of a walkthrough on what to do with the Chapter 3B assignment, okay? So the last thing you did is start working on um, the concept map, and I told you to kind of work through and leave a little bit of room so that you could add to your respective countries, what they wanted out of the Versailles Treaty. Now, one thing you might want to look at is, for example, Russia, didn't take part in the Versailles Treaty. They had already left the war. They had been taken over by the communists, so they kind of are going their own ways. But for the others, certainly you can refer to the video that I just previously talked about to help you with that. All right, so there's that. The next section is just some notes, knowing the difference between domestic and foreign policy. Uh, you will read in your textbook, see if I can find the page that you need for the textbook. Yeah, somewhere. There we go. Okay, so in your textbook, more than likely, you will be looking on pages, it looks like page 122 and forward to help you with knowing the difference between domestic and foreign policy. I mean, obviously, domestic policy is what you do within your own country, whereas foreign policy is how you interact with other countries. All right, so let's get back to that assignment. Costs and benefits. You don't need to do this. I mean, I think logically you can kind of see the correlation between national, domestic, and foreign policy, so you can kind of skip through these two things. As you watch the video on the Treaty of Versailles, as you read in the textbook on pages 123 to 125, provide summary of the Treaty of Versailles. And then what you need to do is judge the support for treaty clauses. Okay. Um, you will look at um, Britain, Italy, United States, Germany, France, in all these different areas. So, for example, how did Britain feel about the war guilt clause? Okay, if they were very in support of it, you'd give it a +2. Okay, uh, where if they were against it, it'd be a -2. Okay, how were they as far as financial clauses? How are they as far as military clauses? How are they as far as territorial clauses? Okay, and you'll do this for each of the respective countries: Britain, Italy, United States, Germany, France. Now, you're probably asking yourself, where do I get this information? Once again, you can go to the Google Slides presentation that I have put in Classroom, or you can watch the video that I've also linked in Classroom about the Treaty of Versailles, the one that has been shown to you in class. Okay. Um, I believe in the Google slide presentation, see if I can link to that right now. It gives you actually Britain, as you can see here. So you can certainly use Britain um, right there as an exemplar. Okay, but then you're responsible for filling in the rest of them. But yes, go through that. Okay. And, I may or may not make a video on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. Just depends, what I'm feeling like today. But anyhow, there's that. Okay. So, like I said, Britain's done for you. You'll have to do some investigating on Italy. Pay attention to the video. Maybe you'll have to do some internet research. Okay. What was the United States' stance on all these issues? War guilt, the financial clauses. Okay. Financial clauses would be the reparations. The military clauses would be, how they were weakening Germany, the 100,000 soldier limit, you know, very small navy, no submarines, no air force, etc. And then the territorial clauses also outlined in the SMART lesson, or not, sorry, the Google slide lesson, the loss of, I believe, 13% of their total land. All right, so you'll go through all of those. Okay, that's worth 12 points. And then down here it says judge interwar foreign policy actions. You will probably do that. In Tuesday's lesson, there's a couple of videos you can watch that I've linked to, and I'll probably get back to here. You'll read through this, and then you will answer that question. Okay, it just says, as you've learned, the Treaty of Versailles was intended to create stable and lasting peace. Representatives at the Paris Peace Conference were intent on addressing national interests that had potential to cause war again. The fact that the world was enveloped by another devastating global conflict beginning in 1939 is evidence that the Treaty of Versailles was unsuccessful in meeting its goals. Was this failure the result of ultranationalism, or could adherence to the legitimate pursuit of national interests during the interwar years have prevented future international conflict? All right, so it says examine the actions of nations during the interwar era using the sources provided or by conducting your own research. Now, I will provide you a couple resources, but you can certainly do some Google searches on um, interwar policy, France's interwar foreign policy, Britain's interwar foreign policy, um, Italy's interwar foreign policy, etc. All right, so after learning about the actions of nations during the interwar years, including the Treaty of Versailles, judge the extent to which the actions were legitimate pursuits of self interest or destructive ultranationalism. Use the following criteria to guide your decisions. So you have the column that deals with legitimate self-interest, and then the column that is destructive ultranationalism. Indicate your decision in the continuum below. Then on the next page, provide at least one evidence-based argument to support each judgment. In your arguments, explain the costs and or benefits associated with the actions of nations. Okay. Evidence-based argument support, continuum placement, and your rubric. So Once again, after learning, it says examine the actions of nations using the sources provided by conducting your own research, blah, blah, blah. After learning about the actions of nations during interwar years, judge the extent which the actions were legitimate pursuits. So this is a general statement, okay? You can focus specifically on the nation that you are specifically doing, or you could answer it in general. How did the nations act generally? Now, as far as sources to look for that, you'll go back to, let me just find it here. You'll go back to substitute plans. We'll scroll down to Tuesday. There's a link here that shows post World War I recovery crash course European history. You can watch that. Um, it will look like this.
Hi, I'm John Green, and this is Crash Course European History. So Europe has made it.
Okay. So anyway, there's that. Once again, you are perfectly welcome to look up other sources in there to help you answer that question. I'm counting on some independent thinking and some critical thinking. Uh, I do apologize, I cannot be there, but certainly if you have any questions, you can contact me through Google Classroom, and I would be more than happy to answer those questions. All right, so there's that. Finally, once you're done 3B, okay, you can start working on the Chapter 6 assignment. Now, I've instructed the substitute to make some photocopies of the Chapter 6 assignment, but if there's any issues with that, the Chapter 6 assignment is found also in Classroom under the section that deals with alternative assignments. You'll click on that. And you'll go down to where it says Chapter 6 Notes, PDF, and then the substitute will photocopy those for you. But if something happens, this is where you would go after you're done with the 3C. Okay. No, sorry, 3B. Okay. Now, you might be only working on that for a day or two. I think I might show you a movie next week, okay? Because I have to be gone the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but that is not definite yet. But if I am not showing you that movie, I will certainly show you this, or I'll have you work on this assignment. Anyhow, I think that's it for now. Okay. Um, I think I'll leave it at that point, and get your digging up the trenches assignment done and hand it in, get your 3B done and hand it in, and then you'll start working on the chapter 6 assignment that deals with the consequences of ultranationalism. That will be the interwar years, that'll be World War II, um, that'll be some of the devastating events that happened, etc. It's a very fascinating, interesting chapter. All right. So one last thing, let's just get back to the subplans. Okay, so that is the Tuesday assignment. So I think that's about it. All right, so take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye now.